of the famous Rabbanim of yesteryear, and we're approaching Vav Tishrei. That's naturally in English. The 6th of Tishrei marks the Hilula of a really great Afghanistani origin rabbi. His name was Rabbi Benyamin Gargi Z'tl Libracha. I believe actually the famous Gargi family in of themselves, they originally came from Iran. They were part of the Anushe Mashad many years back, and I think later on they actually moved to Afghanistan. Many of the people in his family, of his ancestors, became great rabbis in the Herat area, respectively, in Afghanistan. And remember, Afghanistan at one stage in time had a very prominent and strong Torah and Jewish community over there. Vav Tishrei is his Hilula, and many people describe him about what a great rabbi he was in of himself, what a great teacher he had been in Israel. He was a great rabbi in Israel and learned also in various different yeshivot in Israel while he was young. It's actually interesting. They actually describe him. There's a great rabbi, Rabbi Raphael Betzalel, if I'm not mistaken. It describes inside the main Afghanistani Jewish heritage website, within regards to the great chesed, the kindness he actually portrayed. He was called the Rav פעלים. He really did a lot of great amounts of kiruv work within regards to in Israel itself. He was a Mazakeh Harabim, really inspired many different people, spread Torah all throughout in every different place. The amount of chinuch he actually brought about, and chesed, education, was absolutely excellent. I think he was part of the Bnei Tzion Talmid Torah, which we're going to speak about in a minute, which was a very illustrious place. He was a great rabbi over there and headed there with a galaxy of great Torah rabbis in that specific place in of itself. He was a rabbi of the congregation. He really was seen as somebody of people's person, and really did. Whether the people were young people in the community or there were elder people in the community, he could really connect to everyone and really did a lot for the community in of itself. Especially the Balei Batim over there, the people that were working, and Talmidei Chachamim. He really took care of all their different needs which the community needed within regards in of itself. I believe also he arranged, I think, the Shirim, if I'm not mistaken, the Torah classes when Chacham Ovadia Yosef came. I think this at the time period when Rabbi Ovadia Yosef was the rabbi of the famous illustrious Yeshivat Porat Yosef, which we've spoken about on many occasions before. He would travel different cities, and especially he would be asked to officiate various different weddings that took place in the different places. He was also a famous bar mitzvah teacher, taught people for their bar mitzvah. He was going to all the different, let's say, events, weddings, smachot, and unfortunately, at time periods he would have to go to morning processions, and was really hands-on in every different aspect within regards to total community life for the community in of itself, especially while in Israel in itself, because remember at that time many of the Afghanistani community would actually come to Israel, and I think he was also very close to the Bukharian community. Also, he was portraying chesed all throughout. I think he had a kupat tzedakah. He established a foundation called Ahavat Chesed. This was in order to help people that were in need. It was they called it kupat Ahavat Chesed. Help people to stand on their own feet. Various different families that needed it, for Talmidei Chachamim that were learning Torah at a very high level. He was described as Ish Eshkolit Mokir Verachim Rabbanan, which is very interesting. And he dealt with, as we said before, within regards to all the different holy topics within regards to the community in itself. He was considered one of the great rabbis of his generation, especially from rabbis within regards to rabbinic heritage. Many of the great rabbis, actually, in fact, would one of them actually described him as Mezacheh v'Yizakeh et Harabim v'Kaneh et Olamo. How he really did establish everyone. Now, we mentioned before, within regards to the yeshiva, the Bet Sefer, as they call the school, in Israel, which he was very much part of the Bnei Tzion, Talmud Torah Bnei Tzion. I believe this is actually based in the Bukharian neighborhood in Jerusalem, the ones especially where people came from Uzbekistan originally. They came and settled and had a thriving Torah community in of itself. This school, which he was teaching in for many years, they comprised of some of the great rabbis in Israel, Sephardi rabbis in Israel at that point in time, including Rabbi Yosef Chaim Melamed, Rabbi Yaakov Bloy, I think was over there, Rabbi Yosef Mo'alam, another great rabbi we've spoken about before, also Rabbi Rabbi Benyamin Gargi, I think Rabbi Yitzchak Rosenthal, and very many great rabbis, especially during the time periods of the 1950s and the 1960s. It was a very thriving Torah Bet Sefer in of itself, which really did bring about people. Remember, the Bukharian neighborhood in of itself is a very famous famous neighborhood in Jerusalem. Now it's definitely a very ultra-Orthodox neighborhood. It's very near the Geula area, even quite close to Mea Shearim, quite close to Shmuel and Abi. A lot of rich heritage, famous Bukharian market over there, but it had Bukharian neighborhood. It's also a place, the Shukha Bukharian, where the famous Rav Mosayef established the Mosayef synagogues over there, where it's like a Sephardi minion factory over there, which comprises of about 10, 11 different synagogues, famous synagogues over there, I think built nearly close to 100 years ago. In fact, in the channel in of itself, we actually visited the Bukharian neighborhood, the Musayif complex in of itself. So I recommend everyone to look into this. It's and learn more about the great rabbis. I believe one of his ancestors was Rabbi Benyamin Gargi, also who we've spoken about also before. He was one of the great rabbis, I think, of Herat, of Afghanistan. Also, I'm not too sure exactly how they related, but I'd assume they were close relation. And please learn more. There's an excellent website out there called afghanim.co.il. I think it's established in Israel. I'll spell it afghnanim.co.il. It's got all the history within regards to Afghanistani Jews, culture, Jewish culture over there, Torah culture, historical facts within God's place, and a whole biography of the various different rabbis that actually came from Afghanistan at Yesia. Now, friends, we've covered already about 425 rabbis of Yesia in this series of a great Sephardi rabbanim, mostly. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We are a community here. Don't forget to like the videos and write me a comment also and share. So I'm wishing you all a great day. Take care and be well.